from a email address I haven't used for years.
Oh my.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm gonna grab another chair here. This one's not comfortable.
Okay. Anyhow, we're live on Facebook now. Folks,
we are.
Thanks for joining us today. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and I survived my birthday party last night. I turned 58 yesterday, and had a lot of fun, Andrea. I had a lot of fun. Got together with a bunch of my buddies online. We did a Zoom. We did a Zoom party, and it was great.
That sounds amazing. That's very cool.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We had musicians from Hawaii and Australia and Denver, Minneapolis, North Dakota, Spokane, awesome. Washington. Yeah.
Just a minute. I am.
Yeah, it was a great. So I see you got your mask on. Are you afraid that I'm going to cough into my speaker and give you a computer virus?
Yeah, I didn't want you to give it to me. And when all these people come on, I wanted to protect myself. So.
Yeah, computer virus. That's what you're afraid of.
Yeah, right. It's a computer virus. That's what the C stands for.
Did you hear that a Bengal tiger in the Bronx Zoo?
Yeah, right.
A Bengal tiger in the Bronx Zoo caught the.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh no! There was a report that came out last week. Earlier in the week, it said they found that this COVID-19 can infect cats, but not dogs. It doesn't seem like it passes on dogs. So what comes from animals and it's passed to humans, there's no reason why it can't come from humans and be passed to animals. Come on.
Nah, I don't believe it.
I don't care what you believe. It's what happened.
Okay, that's my opinion. I don't believe it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I value your opinion. Thank you. But I'm going to say in this case, you're wrong.
Okay. We'll see what my favorite person in the world says. We'll see.
Would your favorite? Well, I just said it. I'm your favorite person, aren't I?
We'll see.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's a scary time, and I think the one thing that you and I do on here is we kind of bring this to reality for people so they can see that, what can you really do? And I know a lot of people are right now, they're looking, okay, what can I do as preventative measures to keep from getting sick? What can I do? But I think that it's important that we point out to people that in their search for prevention and what do I do if I get infected, we really need to get people to look at who is the most vulnerable.
Right.
Right. And we talked about it last week. Thanks for pulling that down, by the way. I thought you're going to rob a bank or something. But,
that
last
would be
week.
A good thing to do about right now.
Yeah, maybe not. But, we talked about it last week. There seems to be a group of people that are more vulnerable than the majority of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And one of the things that they've discussed is that in countries that kind of follow more of a Western lifestyle, we're actually going to see a worse outcome than in third world countries.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people, they think, well, infectious disease is going to be worse in a third world country. But really, in reality, this COVID-19 is going to be worse in developed countries. And that's what we talked about last week. Wasn't it interesting to hear that?
Yeah. Because we have a lot of different factors here. We
sure do. So I wanted to share a couple things. I'm going to share my screen here because I want you to look at some of the stuff that I was looking at this morning.
Okay.
So I know it's going to pop up right away. It's going to show that I'm sharing my Facebook. That's not actually what I'm sharing. What I wanted to share was this. Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, age-associated diseases. Yep.
Aging-associated diseases. And so, really, Andrea, I mean, let's read some of this. This is Wikipedia, folks, by the way, which I don't know if that's considered a online valid source, but when you look at the hang on here, make our heads smaller. They say that an aging associated disease is a disease that most often is seen with increasing frequency with increasing, what is that word,
I wasn't
Andrea?
following you. Tell me.
Huh?
I wasn't following you.
Oh, I'm just reading the first line there.
Senescence.
Senescence. Interesting. Essentially, aging associated diseases are complications arising from, what word is that word?
Senescence.
Senescence. Age-associated diseases are to be distinguished from the aging process itself because of adult animals age, save for a few exceptions.
Like
All
jellyfish.
animals experience age-associated diseases. So then you look at, except for like things like chickenpox and measles, age-associated diseases are considered to be diseases of the elderly, and and they say it's not to be confused with accelerated aging diseases, which are genetic disorders. So examples of aging-associated diseases are, I'll let you read them.
Atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease, cancer, arthritis, cataracts, osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah,
They increase with age exponentially.
they sure do, right? So
Mhm.
now, what diseases do you see there? The leading,
Heart.
this is the Centers for Disease Control. So I mean, again, it's a valid source, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, they're considered to be, the leading authority. So we'll just go
Well,
with
they
that.
do
I know.
reporting. They do reporting. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So the number of deaths for leading causes of death in the United States: heart disease,
Mm-hmm.
cancer,
Mm-hmm.
accidents, respiratory disease, strokes, Alzheimer's, diabetes, infections, right, and kidney disease. Now, wouldn't you say that of those, right? If we go back to the diseases of aging,
Well,
aren't a lot of them the same?
right. But if you go back, the one you said was infections was actually influenza and pneumonia.
And pneumonia. Yeah, and what are people dying from COVID-19? Pneumonia, right? So
Mhm.
look at these. I'm trying to make an association here. The top 10 diseases are associated with aging. The number of causes of death according to the CDC, right? And then we
Mhm.
look at, the 10 common health conditions that increase risk of death from the coronavirus, right? Including diabetes and heart disease, right? So according to the report on patient from Italy, National Institutes of Health released on March 17th, 99% of COVID-19 patients who died had at least one pre-existing condition, and 50% of the patients died had three pre-existing conditions, right? Okay, let's look at those pre-existing conditions. This is important, right? Look
Right.
at those diseases. Go down to that third paragraph.
Mhm.
Read that out loud for everyone.
Different pre-existing conditions equals including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and kidney disease were found at varying rates among the patients who have died.
Yeah, so look at that. Okay, look at those diseases again: heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease. Let's go back to the aging diseases:
Mm-hmm.
heart disease, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, right?
Right.
Let's go to the causes of death in the United States: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, strokes. Whoa, you starting to see something?
Yeah, it's all related.
It's all related, right? This is from Business
Mhm.
Insider magazine, right? And
Mhm.
I last week when we were putting this together, I wanted people to see that there's a relationship here. But the people that are dying from aging diseases, which are caused by, read the first line there again,
Senescence.
senescence.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Amazing, right? And
Right.
here was a video that I was going to play. It talked about why people with high blood pressure die from this thing. So I just wanted to kind of quickly play this. Let's just hang on. Wait, I might have to stop the share and I might have to start it again. Hang on.
Okay.
Because I want the sound to come in. Okay.
Right.
Now I'll share it so people can hear the sound. Let me, it's just a quick video. It's a minute long.
We learn more about risk factors for severe complications in COVID-19 as more data is published every day. There is very convincing evidence that people with high blood pressure have worse outcomes when they develop COVID-19 infections. And that has led researchers to ask, is it because of the high blood pressure and the effect that it has on the cardiovascular system, or is it related to the medications that we use to treat high blood pressure? So without getting into too much detail, the SARS-CoV-2 virus attaches to a receptor in our bodies that's actually related to one of the enzymes that we block with medication to control blood pressure. Because of that relationship, there is investigation into some of those details. But at this time, there is not enough evidence to change anything. So if you are on blood pressure medication.
All right. So what he goes on to say is that the medication, you don't necessarily want to go off of it, you know, and that's what we're going to say. I mean, we can't, I'm not your doctor. Andrea is not your doctor. We're not your healthcare provider. Do not go off your medication. Andrea, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, we can't say that.
We can't say that we're not your doctor. Okay. But what they're saying is there is a relationship between those diseases. So let's show people what the association is. So here's something that I pulled up on Google Scholar. Persistent DNA damage signaling triggers senescence associated with inflammatory cytokine secretion, right? You've heard of the cytokine storm.
Yeah, I watched a video the other day. My understanding is the immune system has 3 different ways to fight an infection, and when certain factors come into play, the cytokines like increase more than they should in the balance, and that's when you get this cytokine storm.
Yep. Yeah. So what happens is that in your lungs you have 2 types of cells. You have the Th1 pneumocytes, and you have the Th2 pneumocytes. You know, and what they do is the type 1. Those are the ones that exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide, you know, so it has that flow in and out.
Okay.
Those aren't affected by this virus, unaffected, right? But the type 2 pneumocytes are totally affected by it. And what happens is that the type 2 pneumocytes, let's look at what they do. They produce the surfactant. And what is the surfactant in your lungs? Do you know what that is for?
That like keeps all the parts moving.
It's the lubricant, right? Keeps the friction so that as your cells scratch against each other, as the lungs moving out, right? They don't stick together. So what happens with this corona, this COVID-19 virus, is it selectively attaches to the type 2 pneumocyte.
Okay.
So it kills the type 2 pneumocyte, you know, by all the stuff that we've talked about, the virus, you know, and you hear Tom talking about the suckers that go in and they inject the viral stuff into the cell, right? And then inside the cell, viruses are like, they're parasitic, right? And so inside the cell, it gets in the cell, so it injects its own stuff into the cell. And inside the cell, now the coronavirus eats away. It feeds off of your type 2 pneumocyte and produces all these baby coronaviruses. And boom, they explode, and they take over all of your type 2 pneumocytes of your lung.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
Right? So what happens is it triggers an inflammatory cytokine storm.
Yeah.
You see why I'm kind of pulling up these different articles that I'm pulling up, right? Because now we look at the annual of the New York Academy of Sciences, inflammation and the degenerative diseases of aging, right? And if we go through here, we start looking again, we start seeing a lot of these diseases that they're talking about. And again, you start seeing down here where I'm circling down here.
Mhm.
What do you see again? You see that word cytokines,
Cytokine.
right? And then it talks about NSAIDs, right? We've heard that certain inflammatory, anti-inflammatory over-the-counter medications should not be used with this
Right.
disease,
Yes.
right? Which one was
Yeah.
that?
Ibuprofen and I think it was Advil,
Yeah,
possibly Motrin.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because it affects the same types of cells and it causes the same types of things. The cytokine storm, it can actually cause more problems by taking those. So you want to take and you want to look at that stuff when you're looking at these diseases, right? So now let's jump ahead. And everybody's talking about, okay, you want to use fulvic acid. Fulvic acid, how does that work? I mean, do you understand how the fulvic acid works?
Yeah, it actually kind of surrounds the virus so it can't attach to your cells.
That's right. So if this is a virus, the fulvic acid does this. It envelopes it,
Encapsulates. Yeah.
right? And it prevents the virus from being replicated. So that's if you start taking it on a early stage, like as a prophylactic, like I'm taking it right now. You and I have been talking about fulvic acid for God, how many years now?
Oh, at least a year.
Yeah, I'm longer than that. But anyhow, we've been talking about because it creates such a good environment, a microbiome for your healthy bacteria in your gut to live in, not just in your gut, but in any of your organs that are exposed to anything from the outside environment. Your nose, your sinuses, your esophagus, your lungs, right? Your lungs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about that for years, and all of a sudden they find that fulvic acid encapsulates these viruses and keeps them from replicating. But if you haven't been taken and all of a sudden you've already been exposed to COVID-19, right? How does fulvic acid work? And we can say this because this is the science on it. I was just reading Science, and this is the science on it. It works really, really well as a preventative for those people who haven't gotten it. But what does it do for people who've already been exposed to it? Well, what it'll do is when that mother cell produces all those little baby virus cells and that cell explodes and kills the type 2 pneumocyte of the lung, when that type 2 pneumocyte explodes and all those viruses are released, the fulvic acid attaches to all the baby viruses.
Excellent. I hadn't heard that information yet. That's good.
Isn't that good? So even if you've been exposed, you want to use fulvic acid because that's what it does. But the other thing that fulvic acid does effectively is when it attaches to this cell,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, that signals your immune system to say, hey, that cell over there, it's not normal.
Right.
And so your immune system goes looking for that cell, the cells that are more virally loaded.
Okay. Yeah,
Pretty
there's
cool,
an
isn't it?
article on PubMed.gov. If you put in fulvic acid, FULVIC, plus virus, about the fourth one down, it actually talks about a pandemic virus in association with fulvic acid.
Yeah, I was just watching a video. The video is called Imagine Killing the Coronavirus Before It Kills You. I was just watching that video this morning.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, it's an 8.5 minute long video. It's educational. It's not promoting any product. And folks, that's what we want to say here is that we are not promoting any product at all. You're not going to hear us mention any products at all. All we're talking about is the science. It's educational. And right, Andrea?
Yep.
Yeah. And do I take a particular fulvic acid product?
Mm-hmm. Do I?
Do you,
Mhm.
right? But we can't talk about it on this video because it's an educational video. But yeah, that's a really good 8.5 minute long video that you can watch. You can share it with other people, and you can help build this awareness of people. But let's go back to the connection that we're trying to get people to see, is that there's a connection between aging and the diseases of aging and this virus. And you heard us mention the word senescence, right?
What is senescence?
Yeah, what is senescence? Well, senescence is a normal process in your body. It's a normal biological process. It's how your body protects you from having cells that have mutations in the DNA from being let out into the general population. It's like,
Right.
why would you open up the prison walls and let the prisoners out?
Right.
Right? Isn't that really what senolytic agents do? Is they say, no, those gates are closed and they're going to remain closed.
Mhm.
Open up Gitmo. We're putting you there. Right?
Yep.
You laugh because I know some of your posts you have Gitmo written in there. But anyhow, I try and play off of that. But so that's really the thing. So there's an association with age-related diseases, and that you heard the word, if you go back to this, to this study here, right? Aging associated diseases seen with increasing frequency of increasing senescence. Then we go
Right.
over here. ScienceDirect, emerging senolytic agents derived from natural products. Interesting, right? Sounds like an interesting article. Last week you heard me talking about senescence associated secretory phenotype. What does that mean? SASP. Remember SASP?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, so what SASP is senescence-induced secretory phenotype. What that really means is that senescent cells produce something that causes inflammation. What
Mhm.
causes death with the COVID-19?
Inflammation.
Inflammation. So would you want a lot of senescent cells right now?
No.
No. Answer?
No.
That is the correct answer. You win the grand prize for today. You're going to be going on an all-paid, expense-paid trip to China.
No, thank you.
Wuhan. You're going to Wuhan.
I wouldn't want to go there if they didn't have a virus.
All right. So here's the study. Here's what it says. In recent years, emerging natural compounds have been discovered to be effective senolytic agents, such as quercetin, fisetin, piperlongumine, and curcumin.
Gee, I've heard of those before.
Wow. Are you taking a product that has those ingredients in it?
Yes, I am, and I'm so happy I am.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Do you notice a difference in the color of my beard?
No, I haven't.
Oh, go back
You
and look
have
at some.
though?
Yeah, I was on a video the other day with a friend of mine, and I'm looking at my photo as I'm talking. I'm going, oh my God, that looks different. It's not as white. It's more
That's
gray.
cool.
And because one of the other diseases of senescence is graying of the hair. So I pulled the photos down off of Facebook. So I'm not going to talk about it for the next 6 months. I'm not going to put a before and after for 6 months. And I'll let people know if I really did see something. But quercetin, fisetin, piperlongumine, which is black pepper, and curcumin.
Yep.
Wow. Who would have known?
They've been validated in animal models.
They've been validated.
Have
And great potential.
potential.
Right? A potential target for treating age-related diseases. Folks, I mean, are you starting to get the connection? Age-related diseases, causes of death related to COVID. Senolytic agents.
Yeah, so we learned a couple months ago, or I did, that at about age 40, half of your stem cells are in senescence.
Yeah, over half. Yeah. And then by the age of 70, 95% of your stem cells have gone into senescence.
So, you know, when I see these health professionals get on television and they're like, well, for some reason, it seems to be attacking the older generation more. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
come on, you've
It's
got to
attacking
know
the
that.
older generation. I mean, let's just pull up this Wikipedia article. It's a free encyclopedia. So when these reporters are saying, we don't know why it's attacking the old people, it didn't take me very long to put the two and two together.
Right, yeah. And, you know, your rate of recovery is going to be less, the less stem cells you have available to do it.
Right? I mean, I'm just throwing these things out here, folks. I mean, look at these things. Look at how it all these words that you're starting to see: inflammation, degeneration, senolytic agents, glycertin, fisetin. Where does fisetin come from?
I don't know.
Strawberries.
Ooh, my favorite food.
I hear people tell me that a lot. They say, "Oh, I eat strawberries every day." Andrea, do you know how many strawberries you'd have to eat every day to get enough
A
fisetin to make a difference?
truckload.
A truckload of them every day. So guess what you're not going to be doing?
Eating strawberries.
You
to do
can't
that.
get enough. You can't get enough therapeutic benefit from eating the amount of strawberries that you could eat in a day. And
Right.
and that's the elephant in the house, folks. That's the elephant in the house. So when I'm talking to somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm just going to eat right and I'm going to have the same effect that you are, Kurt." And I'm like, "No, you aren't."
Yeah, I hear that all the time because what they do is you take the substance and you extract it down until it's highly concentrated. So you are getting not quite a truckload, but a high amount of that substance in a small little capsule.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So look at this. This is directly from Lancet, right? March 28th, April 2020. Clinical course risk factors associated with the mortality of adult patients, right? And so they're going back and looking at, okay, we're going to go back and look at the medical records of all the people that died in China, right? What a great way to find out what are the risk factors, right?
Right?
The potential risk factors of older age, and then blah, 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 blah. It goes to the different things, right? And so let's look at it. And again, you start to see, respiratory problems, comorbidity, right?
Mhm.
Age-related diseases, older age. I mean, you're just starting to see all these different things, right? And respiratory, um, I'm just trying to cruise through here. Liver dysfunction, myocardial problems, autoimmune infection disease problem, kidney disease. I mean, high blood pressure. Yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it makes
This
sense.
is from 4 natural compounds eliminate senescent cells and prolong your healthy life, and so
Well, I like what
they
it
did a
said.
study,
Prolong
$55
your,
million. Look at that, $55 million on this study, 217 million total. Why are people putting so much money into investing in this?
well, I like what it said. Prolong your healthy life.
Yeah.
Prolong your health span.
Yeah. So this company is trying to come up with a drug category called senolytic drugs. Well, they can't even spell senolytic, but so how valid? I mean, would you put your money in them? They can't. They can't
That's
even.
funny.
They can't even spell it properly. Many researchers are studying the potential of senolytics to eliminate senescent cells. The dream one day might be able to have a pharmaceutical drug that you can pop into your mouth and relieve you of aging. It's a
And
long way off.
and where
However,
do
in the meantime, you can take something right now. Guess what they're taking?
yeah, extracts of what we just talked about.
Yeah, they're
So
They're taking the things that we were talking about here in this article. Ha ha! Yeah. What do you think, Andrea? Was that a good topic or what?
it was very good topic.
I like it, because it's taken and it's addressing the real issue, right? Okay, we can take things and we can encapsulate the virus, which is really really important, which helps as a prophylactic. We can take and we can encapsulate the virus once you've gotten infected with fulvic acid, humic acid. We can take and now we can say we've identified these patients as being the ones who have issues if they do get infected, right? So let's go look for those people in our neighborhoods, those people that your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, and let's say, hey, I know that you have some issues with high blood pressure. Would you take an extra dose of this fulvic acid? Extra dose.
Right.
Triple dose, maybe. Right? If you have 2 or 3 of those risk factors, Andrea, I'm telling you, how much dose fulvic acid should you take?
A lot.
Right? Guess what the side effect of fulvic acid is?
Improved health. 0.
The big donut. The big donut. Zero
you
side
spell
effects
that
have been associated.
FULVIC. It's not folic, it's fulvic acid.
Fulvic acid. Right?
Yep.
And boy, you can go back to some of the studies that Andrea and I have reported on, some of the published work that we've talked about on this call, and you can find that. We're not just, we didn't just fall off the radish truck today.
Right.
Or the
Yeah,
turnip
we've been
truck.
promoting this for at least the last year and a half. But mostly at that time for healthy gut biome.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But where is most of your immune system?
In your gut.
In your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 70 to 80%, depending on what source you're listening to. But they found that there's a microbiome inside of your kidney, inside of your liver, inside of your pancreas, inside of your lung, inside of your, bladder, everywhere.
Everywhere.
They even found that if you take fulvic acid and you put it on topically, I was reading a study this morning, they found that fulvic acid, if you put it on topically, it actually helps that way too.
What does it do?
Well, it's the same thing. It encapsulates. I mean, it's dirt. Fulvic acid is dirt.
Mm-hmm. Dinosaur dirt, right?
Dinosaur dirt. Well, it's not dinosaur dirt. People
Give
are going
me
to get
some
the
of
wrong
that
impression.
dinosaur dirt.
No. See, you're going to give people the wrong impression because they're going to think it's dinosaur poop. It's not dinosaur poop.
No,
wrong.
it's not. But it's decomposed.
It's decomposed seaweed, ancient seaweed.
Ah, where the
Decomposed
dinosaurs
ancient
pooped.
seaweed. No, not dinosaur poop. Decomposed. I mean, there might be some in decomposed dinosaur poop, but we're not even going to go there, right? It's decomposed seaweed, folks. Seaweed.
Okay. Take all the fun out of it. Okay.
I know you like just saying the word poop, but All right. Well, Andrea, thanks for joining us today, folks. Thanks for being on our channel, listening to it. Thanks for sharing this with everybody. We'll get it up on YouTube. And, you don't have to get sick, and you don't have to get really sick, and you don't have to worry about other people as much. If you just know what you need to do, you need to be more aware and have the real answers. So much of the time, I think, the media wants to scare you because it's easier to control you by scaring you, and so let's bring the real truth. You notice Andrea and I aren't saying this in words of panic.
No, and knowledge is power, and you only know what you know until you know more.
All right. Andrea, I'll let you close out the call. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Doc, thank you for being here every Tuesday at noon. And for anyone watching this, contact the person who shared it with you to find out more about the resources that we mentioned. And tune in every Tuesday at noon on our public Facebook page, Doc Fizz with Friends, and follow along to optimize your health. Have a wonderful day.